What is this?
Alright guys, welcome everybody. This is Hype episode 5. Today is Saturday, July 13th. For YouTube, it's Monday, July 15th. So, welcome to the stream, where we talk about video games, the video game industry, general fuckery, whatever we want pretty much. So,
General fucker.
I know that, General.
General, Captain.
General fucker. Kappa.
So we all have some games we want to talk about today, but they're just some general topics that I want to talk about. One of which came up, I guess, a couple weeks ago. There's a studio called Double Fine Studio that has been working on a game called Massive Chalice. I talked about it last week, guys. It looks awesome. Din's totally hooked it up on Twitter. I clicked on that link and I was like, oh my god, this looks amazing. But they're also working on another game called Broken Age. It's an adventure game. And it was kickstarted for about $400K. And all this hype that they built around this game just boosted the kickstarting fund even more. So originally they wanted $400K. They ended up getting $3 million, which is, yeah,
Wow.
kind of crazy,
That's
right?
That's crazy.
So right now they're projecting this game, the first half of this game, and this is where it gets tricky, comes out in July 2014. And the second half is in 2015. Now, the thing about this is that they're over-developing this game and they want more money.
Really?
Yeah. And they're talking
Yeah.
about selling early access to get more money and not even giving the people a complete game. So, I don't know about you guys, but this is like the first instance of a Kickstarter where it kind of burns me a little bit.
Well,
Definitely.
this is like it's almost WarZ-ish. It's like you know what I mean. It's you kind of sit there and step back and go, wait, what? You know. But I was reading a couple articles on it, and the developer said, and he's a pretty well-known developer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He said that it was because the game is that he wants to develop is so massive,
Right.
that they don't have enough money to finish the game. So they'd rather just not like cut out a whole bunch of the stuff in the game and just push out just one game, that they'd like a whole complete game and split it into two. I don't know.
I look at it like there's a reason why we have game companies and we have developers and publishers and such, because they're able to manage the process. They're able to look at what needs to be done, put the funding to it, put the timelines to it. And Kickstarter's a cool thing. I really love it. I kickstarted a couple things so far, like Massive Challenge mentioned. My name will be in the credits technically because I was an early funder.
Nice.
So hey, cool. But if the game gets made, I mean, I already got burnt with what was that one? Raise the Dead? Is that what it was? Or that one they already canceled it. It'll be on another system, but they canceled the Kickstarter. It's going to be always picked up for publishing. So there's a really interesting idea as well that we're trying to do it crowdsourced, but at the same time letting everybody have these great ideas and promising all these things that you don't already have mapped out. It's a chance that they'll happen. You run that risk of them not being able to do it, because they're promising the sky and they can't even build a house.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the sharp edge of Kickstarter, though. You know, you're investing in something, and you really hope that those people that you're giving the money to are going to deliver on that idea. You know, and it's really kind of, I think it's disappointing to see someone say like, I have this great idea and have such a large community contribute so much money to it, and then not be able to fulfill it. Like, you should be able to budget or give us something. You can't just kind of take $3 million or whatever and run with it.
Yeah.
Well, my whole thing as a business person is, all right, you come up with, you say, okay, we're going to go ahead and kickstart a game, okay? You come up with a number of $400,000, okay? You raise $3 million. That is, from a business standpoint, that's phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
But with the $3 million, it's still not enough to do the game. And I mean, you sit there and you go, where the hell did you get the 400,000 number?
Yeah, that's what burns
You know?
me is like, where did they like on paper decide that 400K was going to be enough? Did they just say, okay, wow, we have this much money now, so let's just make it even bigger and blow it out of the water even more and make it that much more polished? And then just said, oops, we kind of bit off more than we could chew.
That or they missed some zeros somewhere.
Well, from reading the articles now, and these are all, of course, with interviews from the developers, so it's going to be spun in that direction.
Yeah.
He's saying, well, the game is just so massive, and it's like, well, okay, dude, pare it down to a $3 million game, and you know, do that, and then maybe kickstart for a sequel or something. You know, you can split. I mean, if you look at it like World of Warcraft or something, they have a huge amount of lore and all this kind of stuff, and they've split it up into different expansion packs. So why can't they do something very similar? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And plus, I think part of the problem is the what everybody's calling the Minecraft model. You know, where you sell early alpha.
Yeah.
If you know, people are really starting to take advantage of that, and I think that's great. But when you actually do a Kickstarter and then try and do a Minecraft model of pay for early alpha and all that kind of stuff, you're going to burn a lot of bridges. I think they need to be careful with that.
I just wonder, can anybody give them Peter Molyneux's number? Because that guy was really good at promising everything, like AI and Babel. You know, he obviously never ever delivered on the things he promised. So they should probably talk to him before they make these Kickstarters.
Yeah, or bring on
Or at
Sergey
least-
Titov.
Or play Game Dev Tycoon. I learned a lot. I'm just saying.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But I mean, it just goes down to the simple. Okay, you can tell that I said it in the last hype we were on. There's always a major disconnect between game developers and business people. You know, and it's like oil and water. They rarely mix, but they have to find some kind of common ground. And I found game developers are rarely ever very good businessmen, and good businessmen are very rarely ever good game developers. You know what I mean? So there has to be like that mix. You know what I mean? We see it with what's his name? Was it Kurt Schilling or something? He had his game company or something, and that went freaking belly up because he designed a game that was really cool, but
Yeah.
you know, he's not a business person. So, you know,
I think what people are running into is they're trying to do this alpha beta release model on games that are far more complicated than I think Minecraft was. You know, I'm not going to say Minecraft was a simple game, but I want to say that, you know, a lot less time was put into building Minecraft than is going to be put into trying to put out like a new GTA. You know, so these guys are trying to run these models that are for these short-term kind of really quick launches where they're trying to develop a game that's, you know, not going to be published for 2 years, and I don't think it really fits. Like it just doesn't work that way.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I don't think you can do it without the backing. Like we've seen it with Bethesda with Arma. Okay, you paid for your early alpha, you're guaranteed, you know, all the updates through beta and release, you know, and you were basically buying the game, but you know, whatever. But you're dealing with Bethesda Studios, who, you know, they're not on the grand scale of EA, but they have pockets, you know what I mean?
Bohemia.
Or Bohemia, yeah.
Wiki
Who did I say?
Wikis like Bethesda.
Why did I say Bethesda? Why did I say Bethesda?
Skyrim on the bridge.
Yeah, it must be Skyrim. Is it Aslan in here? Anyway, but you know, they have some pockets, and these guys who are kickstarting, you know, they don't have the financing, they don't have the backing. They're looking for us to help them, which is cool. But I mean, 400,000, 3 million plus more. You know, it's just there's just such a big divide there.
And here's the other thing I'm thinking about this, all the Kickstarter. The Minecraft thing, I appreciate what he did, what Notch did. He had a vision of an idea for a sandbox game, of testing out the limits of what he could do with this type of engine.
Okay.
And it was an artistic expression in so many ways. He wasn't planning on making this $1 million franchise. He likes to experiment with games. And I look at that, a lot of these Kickstarters are people who are in that mindset, or at least a lot of them are trying new things. They're trying to go outside of the box. But the problem is they involve the public too much. And I hate to be that guy, but most people don't know what they're talking about. Most gamers don't know what they really want. They say they want things. As an artist, I know how this goes. When somebody commissions you for something, for graphic design, they think they know what they want as for graphic design. It ends up being not what they really wanted. And it's not really a quality product. So in the same way, you start involving all the community in these alphas, and they give you feedback. It's kind of this off feedback. Your artistic vision gets swayed from the actual quality product you could have made if you would have tested it in a more traditional way.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of these projects keep getting churned that way, where it's like you get all this feedback from people who are just trolls and who want, I want easy mode. Like, these people are terrible. Let me tell you, we'll get to Rust later. It's like that. it's the same idea. People think they have these great ideas for what should be done in the game. They're not game devs. They don't understand the engine. They don't understand the process. Yet we get this layer upon layer of feedback that's not really good feedback. And so games get kind of twisted and turned and not really done. Where Minecraft had a lot of feedback, but it was already made into like this entity that they could kind of trial run things and keep testing it until they were ready to make it the product they wanted to make it. So it's a weird world.
and they're relying on outside developers and stuff like that to do mods for Minecraft and everything like that, and that's cool. I mean, it's not open source, but it kind of is open source. You know what I mean? In that they're very big on mod support. You know, I just think when I say Minecraft model of game is like where he developed it and he was like, hey, you want early alpha? We'll go ahead and pay for it, and you know, we'll go ahead and, I don't want to say develop it together, but you know, give me your feedback and everything like that. Where this company with this game is kickstarting, getting, you know, four times plus the amount of money they asked for, and then are still trying to go through this paid out, thinking about going through this paid alpha process on a game that's not even, that doesn't apparently have enough funding to even be basically designed. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to have a full game series there to design, you know, from start to a possible finish or midway. I don't know. It just kind of seems shady to me, that kind of stuff. Just, you know, like Dins, you sat there, you kickstarted and everything. Yeah, it might have only been $10, $50,
But
100,
still,
who knows?
But
still, you know, you kickstarted and then you're going to say, well, what? How much are you going to charge me for early alpha? $39, $40, $15, $10. You know what I mean? How much more do I have to donate? And then what happens to say, well, gee, you know, guys, it's just not enough. We're going to have to, if you bought the alpha access and everything, we'll give you the game for, you know, 25, 30% off.
Yeah. I'm kind of over that.
You know,
point,
where's
you
the
know?
stop?
I want the full game. But to speak to Dins's point a little bit, I think the community swaying the game, I see that a lot more. And then there's some games that it actually helps, and maybe that's just the studio or the developers, like Don't Starve. I feel like that game has stayed true to its vision and hasn't you know, veered off path, but the community has also helped mold it, and maybe they just went through and grabbed all the good information from the community and pushed all that negativity away and made a better game because of it.
Right.
I mean, I feel like I haven't heard much about this. I mean, but hearing that the Kickstarter kind of was stated for 400,000 and then it went to 3 million, and they don't really know what to do with 3 million. You know, it's like, well, what do they expect with 400,000? You know, what was their true vision? It kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth. You know, if I was a contributor to the Kickstarter or not, you know, if I pledged or not, you know, I would feel pretty bad about having to pay for an alpha, seeing as that I contributed to your low budget and then you don't know what you're doing with 3 million. Like, it doesn't look right.
It makes other games that they might be working on kind of.
Now, if the CEO was up front and said, you know, we needed 400, the bank required us to have $400,000 in capital up front to finance the rest of the game, and the financing fell through. Okay, hey, shit happens, the economy blows, this kind of thing happens all the time. You know, okay, I'd understand that, but he's saying that the game in his mind is just so huge, there's no way that they can develop it for $3 million completely. So it's kind of like, well, okay, we're gamers, like you said, Dins. A lot of times we want the world, you know, in a game. Maybe he's the same way, and he kind of needs to pare it down a little bit. You know?
Well, going back to like the community contributing to like the alpha beta process, I think that it's really going to be difficult for the community at this point to be positive towards this game. You know, after all of this kind of rough waters. And I would say that, you know, maybe the community isn't going to be very supportive in creating a good game, and they're going to like try to boss the company around because they didn't really come off on the right foot, you know, whereas I think Minecraft kind of worked in this alpha beta process because they came out with like this thing and said, here, play with it, what do you think, you know? And I think that lets people be a little more open and comfortable with it, you know, instead of worrying about where my money is or what you're doing with it.
And if you think about it, it's a great model too. The company gets money up front, even though it's a small amount. They get some money up front, you know, with when they release the alpha. A bunch of people get to play the game, test it. Sometimes they put in, you know, a lot of people who alpha and beta stuff, you know it probably from years of alpha and betaing things, they just think it's early access to play a game.
Yeah.
They don't report bugs, they don't report
exactly.
glitches, any of that kind of shit.
I don't give a shit about that stuff.
Yeah, so they'll sit there. I know from alpha and betaing World of Warcraft stuff and whatnot, you know, you would sit there and look for those glitches and be like, shh, don't tell nobody, you know, because it's going to give you a leg up, you know, when the game releases. But, you know, they'll put in the backdoor stuff like if the game crashes, it'll automatically send a report, all that kind of stuff. You know, so there's a lot of benefit to having this alpha. We've seen it with Arma 3. Of course, Minecraft was pretty much the first person to do it. We're seeing it with, Cube World. We're seeing a whole bunch of stuff come out with that model. But I think Max is right. If this really starts to stink, you know what I mean? Because right now it's just starting to ferment. If it really starts to stink, I mean, they're done before it even gets off the ground.
Yeah.
I just hope,
and it's a shame.
I agree. I just hope it doesn't bleed over into like other titles they're working on, like I mentioned, Massive Chalice and stuff. I know it's a different group of team members working on that, but still it's the same studio, and it could end in the same result. I mean, it being a Kickstarter as well, which would be very disappointing. So,
are they using all? I mean, another thing, are they using all the money off of Kickstarter to develop all of their games?
No, that's just that one game. Just that one.
Yeah, I mean, so like $3 million. Where'd you get the $400,000 from? Just something seems like
pizza party.
Yeah, I know. That's one hell of a pizza. That's strippers and coke.
Yeah,
and, you know.
They need to stop going to the bar on their lunch breaks.
Yeah. So it's a shame, but I hope it pulls out. I hope it sounds like an awesome game. The guy who's developing it is really well known and stuff like that. It sounds like a really cool game. I just hope it gets off the ground.
Agreed.
And it can overcome this.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on. Have you guys ever tuned into Giant Bomb's live stream or anything like that?
No.
No. Well, recently Ryan Davis passed away, so I just want to say R.I.P. July 3rd. He was 34 years old. And that's just way too young to pass away.
R.I.P. Yeah.
Yeah, 07 Big D, yep. So, I was going to touch on a particular trailer that came out this week, but I know someone else is going to be talking about that. So, I wanted to get your all's thoughts on Cube World. There's a lot of games like we've been talking about that give you early access, and you know there's not that much content there to keep you interested in going back unless you're really, really into that particular game like Rust and Cube World. But wanted to get your all's opinion on Cube World because I know like most of us here played except for Kev, and I know you feel like it's grindy, but I want to hear what everyone has to say about it. I mean, it does need some love.
Let me just clarify, okay?
Go ahead.
The reason why I do not have it and I have not been playing it is because I can't seem to stay up until 4:30 in the morning when the store decides to finally go online for that 2.5 seconds real quick, you know? You know, I sit there, I've been waiting, but no. I think it's a really cool idea. I think it's barely pre-alpha, in my opinion. Where you don't have any type of server support other than what you set up between your friends. Your pets don't level up when you're in a group or something like that. The lack of like real quests and everything, it seems very Korean grindy to me. I feel like I should be sitting there with a major Hot Pocket piss bottle and everything like that. I think the idea is fantastic. I think there is a lot of room there to grow and stuff, but to actually put it out on the market, number one, with a very unstable merchant. I mean, unstable is actually being kind, I think. And for it to be, for all intents and purposes, it's an MMO, and you have really no quests, no story, nothing other than let's grab a hang glider or a boat and let's shoot things and grind our asses off. I'm just kind of like, I'll wait. I'll wait.
I mean, actually, it's not actually marketed as an MMO, to be honest. It's actually he marketed it as a 2 to 4 person co-op adventure. So I think that it's definitely heading in the MMO direction. It's definitely, hopefully, we're gonna have like servers with ridiculous amounts of people on them. But I don't know if he really intended that, you know.
Well, here's my thing with the adventure. Where's the adventure? I mean, there has to be a purpose. Like, hey, I'm an adventurer, and I'm going to go and get a hot bitch. I'm going to go and get, there's got to be a payoff to your adventuring.
Whoa.
There's got to be some kind of story.
Have you seen that, Collie?
Story is gonna come in the beta. Don't worry.
Yeah, and that's just what I'm saying. There isn't even like a hint of what the story is going to be on the website and everything, so it kind of leaves you guessing. So, like my 11-year-old son, when he saw you guys playing it, he was like, "I've never seen that kind of a Minecraft before," and I was like, "It's not Minecraft. It's called Cube World." And he was like, "Okay, whatever." And that's the first time he's turned around from my computer screen and walked away. I don't know. I just think there's not enough there really to draw me in for what, $20?
Yeah.
Pick a few, and plus with a merchant that for some reason just can't stay up. Hey, if it's because of demand, God bless them. Up your server shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's 2013.
Yeah, personally, I've been kind of disappointed that they haven't really built larger infrastructure to handle as many people want to get the game.
Mm-hmm.
They've been claiming to be DDoS attacked, which I believe is true. I'm sure there's someone out there who got the IP or knows how to do that stuff and is just mean for the sake of being mean. But I also think that their servers can't handle how many people are actually interested in getting the game, And so not kind of seeing them react quickly to that is kind of putting me off a little bit towards this game. But to be honest, I'm just kind of along for the ride. I saw it was $20. I'm like, hey, let's throw it out there. The reason I love alphas so much, or betas, is that they aren't polished. They're like this nitty gritty. You go, and almost that makes it harder for me. It's like, it may be hard or it may not be polished, but I'm attracted to that for some reason.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not looking for polish or anything like that. Yeah, I'm not looking for polish. I'm sorry, Din. I'm not looking for polish. It's alpha or beta, but I'm something. You know what I mean? I like a little bit of a hint. You know what I mean? There's got to be in the developer's mind. I'm going to sit down and make this game. Not just for shits and giggles, really. It's because I want to tell a story or something like that. I'm looking for something. Sorry.
No, I think this is all a new phase of this new generation of gamers that are mixing it with hipsters, because it's all about being in first. It's all about it's not about like making an achievement in a game. It's like, were you in the alpha? Oh, I'm in the alpha. Yeah, dude, I'm in the alpha. Are you in the beta? I'm in the beta. Because no, seriously, go back to Rust. Rust is the ultimate example of a company that knows what they're doing to make people like troll each other and make each other feel bad for not being in it, and see this exclusivity. To get back to Cube World, I didn't know a lot about it. I heard somebody talking about it in your channel actually, Ruffle, when I kind of looked it up. I'm like, it looks interesting. I don't know what's really there. My first impressions of it were, it's definitely grindy. It's meant. It seems like it's something you just kind of zone out to, because I'm not as engaged as a more well-developed MMO or co-op kind of RPG, because you're just kind of wandering around. And like, even wandering around solo, why can't I find anything? There should be much more populated, mobs running around. It's not like I was, Anyhow, it's a neat concept. My one problem is people look at it and go, Minecraft, I want to build something, but you don't, at least at this point, build much. You can't edit things. You can barely destroy the world. And that seems to me like something they're missing. They've set it up to be this sort of like, take Minecraft to the next level and just, have quests and mobs and things that are going to be more engaging. Yeah. But it seems just kind of, you are grinding for the sense of grinding. Now with people, it's definitely more fun, because at least you have some fun talking to each other and trying to escape these bigger enemies. But the first thing I did, one of my characters walked into a purple German Shepherd +1 or something like that, kited it with a level 1 character, went up to like level 3 or something. It was like, oh, this is great. Like, yay. So it wasn't that, because like, why is this gigantic German Shepherd standing right here in the forest? It's just
there's little sense to anything. And like something like this, you also want to have because I'm an old MMO head, and I know Maxie said it wasn't developed like an MMO or that kind of stuff, but it's going to be like that, or at least a multiplayer RPG. So there's got to be some sort of a quest or a zone separation. Okay, in this type of area, this is from level 1 to 10, say, and you're not going to encounter any mobs really any higher than that, you know what I mean, and things like that, you know, and like Dan said, you're going to sit there and you're going to walk out of wherever you start from and encounter a big orange German Shepherd, and he's like 4 levels higher than you, and he's going to take a big bite out of your ass, and then that's it.
And then you're dead,
yeah, and then to me, it just seems like it's still in, and I know a lot of people be like, well, duh, Kevin, that's what, but it's still in design stage, and the idea or the actual story or the engagement part for people, at least like me, that are used to MMOs and multiplayer RPGs, those two elements that really draw a person in have not been combined yet, and I think to release it as early alpha, to release it as it is right now as early alpha is a dangerous thing, because people are going to get tired of it. And not to mention with the lack of response about their servers and everything. Hey, look, you're getting DDoS. This is 2013. They have DDoS proof stuff. You know, put it on a separate box. You know, are you running this out of your grandma's oven? What are you doing? You know, and so that, as a person who's played a lot of MMOs, and you know, with the grind fests and the companies that just stop, what's going to happen when the game goes released for full and there's bugs and patches and stuff like that, you know, where's the communication on that and things like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel that it is really a skeleton of the game, right? You know, it's kind of this hack put together, and the ability for us to run around together and actually do quests together, I think, is luck. You know, I don't think they really planned that. It just happened to work together. You know, there's definitely some scaling of level monsters and stuff like that definitely needs to be worked out. For the seeds, I think that's really where, like, you just got to get lucky with a seed at this point to get like creatures with low levels that you can actually attack early on. You know, and I think it has the feel of an MMO because there's nothing they've really added to the story or to the background of it, you know. So definitely right now, like, of the skeleton of the game, when we're all playing it, it feels like that grinding MMO. And personally, I really hope, and I feel like they'll give us something a lot better than what it is. But I personally hope they're going to add crafting and even mining. Like, I know I don't want you to copy Minecraft, but that building aspect adds like a whole level to multiplayer community. You're running around and like, guys, let's build a fort real quick because there's a monster running at us, you know? That would add like a completely interesting dynamic to the game.
Not to change to another Kickstarter I've put my money into, there's one called Tug, and it's voxel based, but it looks more realistic than this, but it allows that kind of crafting. So it's basically the idea of Cube World, where you're running around in this voxel based world, not quite as cutesy looking, it looks a little more realistic. But yet you can build right out of the boat, I think. So, I mean, they're working on games like that, and I'm wondering if they're going to add that in later, because that's the thing I felt missing when I first got one of the saurians, or like big dinosaur ones. It started destroying the ground. I'm like, hey, why can he do that and I can't? The goddamn lizard can do it and I can't do it. Come on now.
I mean, I really like the ideas that these guys are coming up with. I mean, I think it's fantastic. I think even though, like, let's admit it, Cube World isn't setting the graphics world on fire, you know what I mean? But the idea there is I think pushing the limits, and I think the bigger game companies may look at things like this and being like, my God, these guys got $3 million on Kickstarter. These guys at Cube World, they got an X amount of money and their store was down 98% of the time.
Yeah.
You know, everything like that. You know, we better step up the game. I just think, for me, there's a lot that's missing, and I know it's only $20. You know, people are like, "Shut up, Kevin! Just, you know, throw your money at the screen and, you know, do it." But it just seems so grindy and pointless. And I have gamer's ADD anyway, so if I don't have something that's going to grab me right up front, you know, and like Max said, there's no. I mean, you know, even in regular MMOs, you can sit there and you have your mining attached to your crafting. You know what I mean? So you want to do armor smithing, you got to go out and, you know,
objectives and goals.
Yeah, there's got to be an objective and a goal, and right now there isn't.
Yeah. Well, Merc was saying that he feels like it was an alpha that was a rushed alpha due to demand.
Yeah, and Merc is probably, this seems like something that they would test between 4 or 5 people in the office. They plop something new into the world, and they say, okay, let's go ahead and test it together real quick to see how this works, or see how this looks, make sure this, it fits into the world and whatnot. That's what it feels like it is right now. It's like an in-house, very pre-built alpha.
Yeah.
But if people enjoy it, God bless them. But like I said, I just haven't been able to stay up until 4:00 in the morning for that 2-second store opening.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Now here's the thing I'm worried about is it blew up so quick, and I think a lot of people saw what it is right now, and they're thinking, "This is it? This is what all the hubbub's about?" Do you feel like they're going to come back in a couple months and check it out again? Or do you feel like it might lose that shine, and you know what I mean?
I think
it
it'll lose
quick.
its shine.
Yeah.
It did. I mean, it's only been not even a week, or
a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like
that.
Yeah.
And they haven't even really released an update to fix some like really minor things, I think. And I think if they don't update it within the next week, they're really going to lose a lot of attention for it.
Well, I think right now, with the Steam Summer Sale going on, and I know I'm groaning about it too because it's been less than spectacular, but for $20, you can get some decent games on the Steam Summer Sale.
Oh,
People are
yeah.
going to sit there and look at this with a store that's rarely open and go, I can wait around until I have to shave again to try and get this game, or I could just hop on over to Steam and pick up maybe 2 or 3 games for $20 and play the shit out of them, and they're done and they're polished and whatever. And plus, you're talking about you're going to attract 2 or 3 different types of gamers to Cube World. MMO people, RPG people, and just, regular gamers that like to do pretty much all of the above and then some.
Fuck around.
The MMO people are going to be just turned off because there's nothing to do. I mean, to them, there's nothing to do. Why do you think, in games like WoW and Rift and all them, they put in dailies and stuff? It's to get you to log on every day.
Yeah.
The RPG people, basically the same thing. There's nothing to do. There's no quest. What are we going to do as a group? There's no raids or dungeons or whatever, And so after the initial newness, cutesiness, oh, look, I can buy a hang glider and fly around, and I just got my balls chewed off by that, +2 golden retriever, in the purple part. It's going to be done for them. So they have to really stay up on their game.
Definitely.
Agreed. It felt like it was a little bit rushed, and I think it's going to lose its luster very quickly, which is sad because it has so much potential to be a good game. So, all right. Does anyone in chat have any questions about Cube World? I noticed Wiki mentioned something about the biomes having different, harder starter zones. One of them being lava, being the hardest.
I've never seen anybody in a lava zone or anything like that.
So I kind of toned to that. So there are biomes right now, and if you head far enough in one direction, you'll actually hit the biome wall. It usually takes about 2. Those the attack spots where you can get the daily quest. It takes about 2 of those out, and then you'll hit a biome and you'll go into a snow biome or whatever. But even though they have biomes, even the first biome just seems like it ranges the levels so much that you wouldn't even need to leave it until you're level 100. So, and it's also really up to the seed. You can get a seed that has really difficult stuff right around the town that you spawn in. So,
okay.
So it seems like it's completely random. I mean, this is coming from a guy who doesn't play it.
Basically, I mean, I think you always spawn in the same biome, and there's kind of it branches out from them, and it's supposed to be randomly generated, but it doesn't really have a functional purpose yet.
Yeah.
I mean, watching you guys play it all together, you guys have a freaking blast, and that's really what it's all about.
Yeah.
But and it for $20, yeah, okay. But if I'm gonna sit there and log on by myself, I just installed Guild Wars 2 again today. And I'm partnering. Thank you, Dids. I was watching Dids last night play, and I was like, yeah, I gotta get it again.
The exact same thing.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just hard for me to sit there and say I can log on and grind bushes and dogs and orcs and whatnot for effing ever.
Yeah, I can't do it. I mean,
I can't.
If Max isn't on and we don't have a good group going, I probably would just switch games, to be honest, right now. That's the only thing that's really making it fun is hanging out with everyone and goofing around and having a good time. So.
And from what I understand, setting up the server to play together and whatnot is still very...
Yeah. It has its days.
So I can give a kind of tone to that, and that's that the server is being community modded just to make it stable at this moment. There's been no update on the server, and this company I was looking at, CW Pro Hosting, is actually working right now. They've been working for 2 or 3 days to make their own executable so that they can run multiple servers on their machines. And it's basically they're just like designing the multiplayer whole packet again just to make it functional for them.
Wow, that's a lot of work.
Damn.
Yeah.
And that's another thing about it is they're giving promises about like houses and stuff, but if you follow the developer on Twitter, you're not getting anything. You know what I mean? Like he's not talking about it. Hey, this is coming soon. I'm working on this right now. It's really cool, exciting. Can't wait to show you guys. I got nothing there. I mean, it's like breadcrumbs. I'm trying to find the breadcrumbs.
Yeah, he is. I don't think Wally's the guy. He hasn't like updated his Twitter in like a week, right? It's where are you, Wally?
Yeah, your game just blew up. You're making millions.
I mean, yeah, here's the thing. I mean, and even just, I mean, for an indie developer or a very small developer or something, with something like this, you've spent a long time just yourself plugging keys at your PC.
Mm-hmm.
All these people are dropping $20 when they can get on to get your game. Say thank you, damn it. You know what I mean? You have Twitter say, thank you all for your support. I'm sorry about the store.
Yeah.
I'm
really
getting
excited
another
to bring
hamster.
you content.
I'm getting a new hamster to put on a new wheel to see if we can power the servers a little bit better. Something. Thank you guys. Thank you. This is why I made the game. Hey, F you all, kiss my ass. Ha ha ha, I got your 20. Nothing. Something.
Is your name Sergey?
And yeah, and that's coming. And that's the problem when you have big game developers who release a shitty game but say thank you.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a kick in the balls. And you have indie guys who develop a game with a lot of potential but don't say thank you and actually don't say anything after that.
Yeah.
And it's like a kick in the balls. I'd like a little bit of a happy medium here. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just politeness.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, I say we move on. Another game I wanted I've already talked about it, but I want to see what you guys think about it. I've been playing it more and more. I can't stop logging on to it. I logged on 20 minutes before we started the hype today. The Mighty Quest for Epic Loot. This game is awesome. I'm digging it. It's like a dungeon crawler, okay? Basically, you get guys coming after your castle. I'm like logging on every day to get my gold, my life force to try and beef up my castle so these guys don't come in there and continue wrecking me. And it's just a blast. I mean, what's your all's take on this game? I mean, I streamed it one day. I see Kev rolling his eyes. What do you guys think? You guys think it looks fun?
I'm being quiet because, I've got this awful habit of just saying, okay, everybody on Lisa, get out of my way. I'm just going to go ahead and take over and talk. So I'm just waiting for my turn.
Well, why did they just call it Diabloville? That's what I was...
You think it's Diablo-ish?
I think, just the game design in essence, where you're just kind of questing through a bunch of mobs and farming them. But I'm saying that they've kind of mixed the Farmville model with that, where you're kind of like logging in every day to do the smoke quest or do time trials against the other. It's kind of the social media version of Diablo.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't played it. I've seen it. I wanted to get into the early access, but I'm not paying money for a free-to-play game. At this point, I've done that too many times already.
Yeah, I know. I know.
It does look good, and when I get a chance to actually play it, I'll see what I think of the actual gameplay for myself. But it's like Marvel Heroes to me at this point as well. It's the same kind of like, okay, I'm going to go grind a bunch of mobs, get some loot, have a little bit of fun, but it's again grinding for the sense of getting loot. Now, granted, they may have done it really well, and what I've seen so far looks pretty fun, but at the same time, I have to see how that raiding other people's castles and doing time trials, whatever it is, or missions like that, keeps my attention. Because there's a lot of other games coming out real soon that are going to probably draw me away. So
well, there is
tough to tell.
There is that aspect of like Diablo when you're attacking. Now, I can be honest. The past 2 days, I haven't attacked a damn thing. I've just been upgrading my castle and crafting, going to the architect table, researching better mobs for my castle, just working on defense. Because if I look like a lower level character with a super beefed up castle, I'm gonna start racking in some dough, and these guys that come and attack my castle, they drop their loot on the ground, and I just log on and pick it up in a bag. So there's like two aspects to it. You can go raiding, you can go raiding if you want to, or you can just log on every day and drop some upgrades on and have a good time that way if you want. But it is very, very simple. It's a very simple game. You have clicking. Mainly is the main left click is your main thing for the game, and then you have your little hotkeys like Guild Wars, like 1 through 5, and that's it. So it's just like a little game. It seems like you can log on every day and have a good time with some friends or a community or something like that. So
yeah, I think it combines a lot of good things. It's pretty simple with the controls. You know what I mean? If you want to say it's Facebooky game-ish, okay, maybe, but it's relatively simple. They put a lot of humor in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, some of the shit that they say and everything like that is just hilarious. You really get to customize your castle, and it's like you want to have the bragging rights about, like, Wiki comes and raids your castle, tries to raid it every day, and every day you log in, collect, take a dump on his bones and pick up his loot bag and put it in your treasure chest. I think that is really funny. I think that, the customization of it and everything, I think that's really great. I was going to get it. I was looking at it. I had signed on with my Uplay account and everything like that, and was going to actually pay money for it. And then Mrs. Kev stood behind me with a baseball bat aimed at my head. And I realized I'm about to pay money for a free-to-play game.
Yeah.
So as much as I want to play it, I'm going to wait until it is released, and it's actually free to play, because I don't think this is something that would hold my gamer's ADD indefinitely. As a free to play game like Path of Exile or something, which I've played for maybe like 4 hours and have never touched again. It's great, and I think with all of us, if we get it and we're all in each other's friend circle or whatever, and we're all sitting there trying to raid each other. And I mean, we talk to each other almost every day, so we'd sit there and just bust each other's stones, about it. I think it's fantastic. I think it's just great. But other than that, I'm not paying money for a free-to-play game.
Yeah, I almost did the same thing. I logged into Uplay. I was looking at it. I'm like, do I really want to spend the money on this game? And ultimately, I said no, and at least for the beta. And, even if it's free to play, I might not even play it. I don't think it's my cup of tea. But I haven't watched that much gameplay, to be honest. But from what you guys are talking about, it seems like this game is going to be really interesting to groups of people, right?
Yeah.
All your friends can play it. Hopefully it's on Mac as well, right? So no matter who you're with, you can kick their ass, right?
Wait a minute, Mac?
I'm just saying, I have like one friend and he has a Mac. It's a pain in my ass. It's like, well, what can we play together? Well, we can play Civ 5, and that's about it. But, so if it's on Mac, if it's on PC, really, and if it's free to play, it's largely riding on these social issues. Not social issues, social aspects, where like you get to beat up your friends, right, or compete or whatever, and I think it'll be less about the time trials and more about the community at that point.
What I'm noticing though, it's going to be somebody like you're playing another game while you're streaming that game. You're going to check for your loot. It's like you're checking your Twitter. Seems like
my notifications.
Right? Yeah.
Run into Cherno, but they're going to see if I ain't gold in my castle. I mean, I envision that happening a lot.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I like the fact that you can watch the replays of the person that raided your castle. So that was pretty cool, and make some changes and stuff. So it's got some cool things,
Yeah, it's got some really cool things in it. I think it's good for groups of friends to sit there and go, I'm gonna raid you today, or hey Raffle, guess what I did today? Next time you log on, you'll have to check it out. Things like that. But insofar as spending money for a free-to-play game just to get into a beta, I gotta say it though, when you streamed it, it looked very nice. I mean, it looked really, really polished. I mean, I don't know what bugs you found, if any, or what have you, but to get a mage or something like that, which I think is bullshit. You shouldn't pay to get character. I've always been like that for anything that's free to play. You shouldn't you shouldn't have to pay to get certain classes. You know what I mean?
It runs the like free to play but pay to win aspect of it.
It gives that impression. You know what I mean? I don't know if the mage is going to be op and shit like that, but I really think the game looks funny. It looks cool, and I'll tell you what, from a parent's perspective, it'd probably be something I'd let my son play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, it's not. You know, it's not gory. It's not over the top. You know, all this kind of stuff. I don't. You know, I think he could have a lot of fun with it.
You know what it made me think of? It made me think of Dragon's Lair. Just the art style for some reason. Like that real lanky kind of, I don't know.
Cartoony stuff?
Yeah. It looked good. It did look polished. I agree with that. But I'll give money to a free-to-play game if I feel like I'm going to invest a lot of time in it. I'll give them like $15-20. Something like that to get some perks, get some money, some credits, whatever it is. I usually do that, like War Thunder, Marvel Heroes. I'll buy a little bit if I feel it's going to be a decent game. But to get into the beta and get a special class, that is a little... They're walking the line on that one, in my opinion.
But the difference is with something like War Thunder, you're buying like a plane or whatever that you're going to have forever. You know, you'll get the mage class forever, but you're not going to keep those special little currencies or whatever you get forever. You know, stuff like that. So that's kind of it's very Facebooky in that kind of way. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, but it's definitely not one of those games where, if I had it, I would log on religiously every day to see who looted my effing castle. Because,
well, does it send messages? Because is there like integration for Twitter or Facebook where it would send a message if somebody raided your castle? That I would love.
That would be awesome.
That would be pretty good. That would be pretty good. No, you know, or some kind of email message from Uplay, you know.
I haven't seen that yet, but you do have notifications. Like, you log in and you check your notifications and stuff like that. Like, oh, shit, I got raided and I lost. Let me watch this loser.
It's like, hold on, guys. We got to go watch Dins and how he, failed in getting into my castle or something, you know?
You know, I mean, but you know, okay, we all know us. So what are the chances of us getting the game, logging in, one of us going into Raffles' castle or my castle or somebody's castle and just running in circles for like 35 minutes and then standing on a trap and burning yourself to death just to be a troll or whatever.
Just drop a loot in the shape of a penis.
Where's Astro when you need him?
The trolling possibilities on this game for friends is potentially endless. I'll just put it that way.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Do you guys have anything you want to talk about before we move into video games? Because we have less than an hour.
I'd say one last comment on that. The Epic Quest for Mighty Loot. I think it's really trying to gear. It sounds like it's gearing towards the younger gamers and trying to get them hooked on these games so that later on maybe they'll start buying their products. So
definitely, I agree. Definitely, the art style appeals to it and the simplicity of the game.
Get more gamers in, man. More people I can win against.
Plus, if you look at it, I mean, irresponsible parents are going to have their 5-year-old sitting there playing Modern Warfare and cutting people's heads off and shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Me as a parent, of an 11-year-old, almost 11-year-old son, I don't let him play that kind of crap. He has his Wii, he plays Mario Kart and stuff like that. I would let him play this game because it's cartoony, it's funny, it's got a lot of modern day type of humor in it that he would hear every day, but but they'll bleep out the curse words and stuff like that. That's funny, stuff like that. I would let him play something like that. I don't have a problem with them gearing something toward, because I think there's very little today, unless you get into the Mickey Mouse and shit like that, that's geared towards, say, somebody from an 11 to a 14, 13-year-old range, maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I definitely haven't seen it unless you're going to the Wii.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely geared towards kids, and I think it's going to do great. I mean, being free to play, they can just download it for their kids and just log on and boom, have a good time. So.
And it is an interesting idea, just in general. I think. I think it's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah. Definitely. All right, chat. If you guys don't have any questions, we're going to move on to some games. Quick question: crack or cocaine? Follow up and why? Ooh.
Coke, because I can clean my house in about 15 minutes. That's why.
Okay. Well,
good to go.
There we go. Coke it is. All right. Who wants to kick off the game roulette?
Let Dins go first because he didn't
I
get the
missed
chance
last
to
week.
last time.
All right, fair enough.
All right. Yeah. Well, I guess the first game I want to talk about, and I don't know how much was said about it last time we talked, but The Last of Us, one of the best games to come out in a long time, in my opinion. And I just recently had a conversation with one of my coworkers who was about my age, also has kids, and he was really taken by this game. And it was something that we were having conversations that weren't even about the game. And I don't know how many other games I can think of that have come out recently that have done that to people. And so what I really think about is I'm not going to try to do spoilers. And I don't know how many people haven't seen it or haven't read about it or haven't watched videos, what have you. But to me, the one thing about this game that sticks with me is that the monsters that you see and people talk about, which are the clickers and the infected, aren't the real monsters in this game. And it's about humanity. It's about what we become when we're faced with the harshest of things that ever happen. And they've done that in one of the most beautiful, engaging, and well-written games that are out there. So it sticks with you in so many levels that if you can get a chance to play it, I'm not saying buy a PlayStation 3 to do it. Maybe watch somebody play it, but it's definitely like watching a movie or playing a movie. And the multiplayer as well isn't just something stuck on to have some multiplayer content. It's actually a really fun diversion from the typical FPS. And I haven't got a chance to go back and play because I just got my new headset to do that with again. So my mic broke. It's just that's the type of multiplayer you can't play without a mic, in my opinion. Yeah. It's all about communication. But it's nice to have the crafting from the game blended into the multiplayer, and it's not really about zombies in the multiplayer, so it's not like horde mode. It's actually about strategic and being quiet, if you want to be quiet, I guess, and trying to use locations and bottleneck people, and it's kind of cool. It's about strategy and thinking rather than just running around twitch shooting people. But as I mentioned before, my friend and I talking about the game, he was mentioning things about, do you remember this part? And you see this part, and man, this really got to me. And I started thinking about, what would I do here? And how did you approach that last scene? And it was amazing to think about all the ethics involved, all the care and emotion and that you felt for the characters and felt for other people. And granted, we're both in Pittsburgh. So we're talking about the Pittsburgh scenes and how this happened. And man, this was weird. And I've been here and all this. It's just something, it gets you in so many levels. And as a dad, the first sequence still gets to me every time I played it through twice now. At least that first sequence, shall we say. And it's so just jarring and emotionally wrought with like, just, I don't want to play this again. I don't want to do this again. Can I skip this first part? Because it's so well done. So it's just a beautiful game. The soundtrack is also beautiful, if you're probably hearing. Somewhere along the line. Man, I don't know what anybody else's questions or thoughts about it, but I can't say enough. Either find a video of this game, find a playthrough, go play it, because you're not going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I agree. There's not many games I truly suggest people to play, because there's so many gamers out there who like different things or whatever. But like, I don't care who you are. If you have a PS3 and you can afford this game, go and buy it. It is an amazing story, as Dins was saying. And you really get connected with it, which is the first time it's really happened in a game for me. The first scenes and scenes throughout the whole game really capture you.
Well, I don't have it, and everybody pretty much knows I am as far from a PlayStation fanboy as you can get. But be that as it may, if Mrs. Kev weren't ready to cut my head off with a very dull and rusty spoon, I would go out and get a PS3 just for this game. I love it when I see people on Twitch playing it because I will tune in just to watch it. I can't remember the last time where I've wanted to watch a game just because I've missed this part of what these characters said to each other, what is actually going on in the story. And I've heard, like Dins was saying and Max was saying, you get emotionally caught up with these characters. It's not like you're playing a game. I mean, let's face it, as gamers, we don't buy games based off that. We buy games based off, say, maybe graphics. Are you buying Call of Duty for the story? Are you buying? I stand corrected.
That last night.
Man, Riley's got me already. I'm following Riley. Call of Duty.
Yeah. I mean, are we buying WW13 for the story other than what we create in it? With Cheetos hair Halo. Are we anything like that? I think it's absolutely number one. The game is just beautiful. I mean, let's just. For it being on a PS3, which is how many years old? It's about 6 months or a year older than the Xbox 360, right. I think. It's fantastic. I mean, just the level of the filters and the shaders and everything that they used was just fantastic. But the story is what really gets me about this game, and really, I am supremely butthurt that this will never come to Xbox 360 or PC.
I've heard somebody say it's coming to the PC though. Somebody was mentioning that the other day, and I don't know where they got this rumor, but I keep hearing somebody say that.
If somebody can confirm that, I will have to go and change my underwear because they could sell it for $100. I'd buy it. I mean, that's how, how bad I want to play this game. And watching the multiplayer, it's even more than what Dins has said, because you actually have a purpose to the multiplayer. Yeah, it's to level up the kind of weapons you can buy and stuff like that, but you're also collecting survivors, and some of them get sick, some of them start to starve, and you have to win these things to like feed them and get a medicine or whatever, and and you're not running and gunning it like Call of Duty. Let's just put it that way. Calling out your attack dog. You do that, and you're a dead man. So I really, it's a really good change. Really, really nice change in gaming.
One of the things I liked about the game is, like you guys mentioned, the initial opening scene immediately starts pulling at your heartstrings. I mean, as a parent, I mean, you feel it, man. And some of the struggles between Joel and Ellie along the way, Dins and I briefly talked about it one night as he was playing it, and how the ending of the game and how strong it is on the impact of like humanity and a father and stuff. And I didn't realize it at the time because I hadn't played it, but I mean, I came across another scene later on where it was just something traumatic was going to happen, and I don't want to give away too much, to Ellie, and Joel was there, and that bond and that connection was there, and it just made me realize even more, I understand where Dins is coming from now, because I hadn't seen that scene before because I hadn't played it or watched his complete playthrough, and it was just like, wow. And it just makes it even more powerful.
There was a great little part, I was playing through it again, and this is one of those games where it's better to play through twice. And there's a lot of games out there you can say that for, but this one in particular, I didn't think that was going to be that way. I thought it was going to be, I'm going to get more power-ups and kill flickers faster. But, not to be a spoiler thing, but there's a scene in the end with giraffes that's just heartwarming as well, and it's amazing and beautiful.
Yeah.
But as I'm playing through one of the first scenes after the opening sequence, I can't remember exactly what it is, in Boston, I think it is, or somewhere. There's a little girl sitting in like the scrubby area where you're kind of like going through the gateways to get to the next part. She's holding a little stuffed giraffe, and I stopped and I was like, oh, wow, this is great foreshadowing. But I never noticed it the first time.
Yeah. And
now as I'm playing through and looking for other things, I noticed I'm like, that's really brilliant. And there's a lot of Easter eggs in the game, but that one just got to me because I was like, man, after getting through it, wow, that's a little much. Because the little girl looks so innocent, and so like that's all she has is giraffes, and it's just such a great game. I mean, it's just in so many ways.
Yeah.
And for me, like I am kind of glad I didn't tune into anybody and watch them play it completely through. I caught snippets here and snippets there, and I refuse to go on YouTube to look at playthroughs with the hope and prayers to my Lord, baby Jesus Christ in heaven, that it will come to PC. It will never come to 360. I know that. I understand that. But if it ever does come to PC, I am so adamant about not wanting to know the full story. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just don't want to know. And I love the fact that with this game, it actually... How many times have we watched zombie movies, really, and stuff like that? Even The Walking Dead, we have no idea how the zombies came about? What happened? Was it some government thing? This is actually based on some like real life parasite and shit like that affects some animals and species in a similar way, and it really makes you think, wow, what if something happened and now it affected us like that? So
and I'm gonna say, mark my words, they're gonna release a DLC that's about the prequel to this, about how the infection started. You're going to be one of the Fireflies or one of these other things. And I'm going to say right now, not to be spoilers, it's going to be the Army doing experiments on parasites for mind control to infect enemies. I'm going to guarantee you watch. I'm not going to, but it just makes sense to me after playing it that this infection is something that was man-made. Because that's even more to the point of that we're the real monsters.
Yeah.
We did this to ourselves.
Yeah.
Because it's not a natural evolution. This is something we did, and that's why the Army's cleaning it up so fast.
I just think there's so many possibilities to have with this game, and even I think gamers would be really upset if the developers just said, "There's the game, that's it." That's one of the things where anybody that I've talked to that's played the game and beat it, got to the end and everything, they went, "That's it." They better do a sequel. They better do more. When have you ever heard gamers beg for DLC? You know, usually we're like, Jesus Christ, DLC. You know, you go on to Steam, you buy a game, and it's got like 12 pages of DLC. You're like, and we're begging for, man, we got to have more of this.
But you know what?
Go ahead.
I would say though as well though, I don't care if they make DLC or a sequel. I'm fine with what it is. If they make stuff to try and cash in on it, which I don't think they're going to. If they try to create a little more of an environment to help us give more of the story, that's nice. I don't think they're struggling. I mean, most players who I've seen play as well don't really need more with Ellie and Joel. If they can flesh out the universe a bit more, maybe, and get a little more time with it. Personally, I don't care if they make a sequel. I think the game is beautiful as it is, and it's a nice little piece of artistic expression. So I'm not like hankering for a sequel. If they make something on that same level, I'll play it, no doubts. Now, again, saying this, if you don't have a PS3 right now, get a PS4. It'll probably be available in their online store. Just saying. So,
well, here's the big question. I don't think PS3 games will be compatible with PS4 unless they're on their marketplace. Or
they'll be available, I think, as downloadable like online games. If I'm not mistaken, a lot of games will be playable through their like store. That I'm pretty sure they mentioned that somewhere along the line. That a lot of these kind of games you'll be able to download and play. But it won't be disc-based. It won't, it'll be like through their online service. So.
Well, I think Dins has nailed it with the DLC. They're going to come out with some kind of different story. Naughty Dog has already confirmed that the Ellie and Joel story is done. You will not see those characters ever again. And if you do, it might be a glimpse or something like that. But there will not be a bit more story. Their story's done, which I think is awesome.
Well, from what I've heard, a lot of gamers didn't like that because they've become so attached to those two. You know what I mean? And that's shocking. It's like, what do you mean?
Kudos to Naughty Dog for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Keep them wanting more. I just think Naughty Dog the first time I'm going to say this about a game company, I think they really outdid themselves with this. I mean, really.
Yeah, personally, I think they did a really, really good job with this game, and I'm excited for my second playthrough. I've played through it once, and it gave me chills the first time I played it. It's that good. But at the same time, like, I'm glad they're not going to be doing anything more with Joel and Ellie, because they told their story, and more story could either make it better, sweeten it, or make it worse. And I hope they don't change it, it's good to hear that they won't. And definitely them recreating the same emotion with new characters, maybe that'd be really great game.
Wasp had an interesting point. Maybe we could get some DLC outfits for Joel, like a Pikachu outfit or something, and then throw that in there.
See, now you're bringing it up to the level of Dead Rising. Maybe Saints Row 3. Next thing you know, we'll have him wearing a leotard and the glasses with the nose and the mustache. Everything like that. I think the game is raw and gritty to a point that if you start to add in assless chaps and stuff like that, it really takes away from the game. I think with Joel, you look at Joel and you look at him and how he's wearing his clothes and just the artwork on him and stuff. It's dirt, it's grit, it's how life is. And as you play through the game, you see it. You're diving through stagnant freaking water and all that kind of crap. I mean, it's just filth. You know what I mean? And I think Joel wearing assless chaps and nipple clamps just wouldn't.
That's
really
Saints Row,
do it.
man. That's Saints Row. You can't bring Saints to other games.
Okay, Wasp, yeah, he's dildo fat. He could, dildo per time for everyone.
They could add that to the multiplayer, though. I mean, honestly,
There you go. That's an idea.
I was laughing at the weird outfits you could have in that because I unlocked a bunch of stuff. Like I got like a bowler hat and a surgeon's mask and a bunch of like a fist for my logo on my backpack.
Yeah,
I could see them going crazy in the multiplayer. I think the unlockable outfits in the game, I was like, is that really that cool? I was surprised Nathan Drake wasn't an outfit for Joel, to be honest, because I mean, you got some of those options where it looked kind of like Nathan Drake jumping around from Uncharted, but I don't think they need to add much to the single player. The multiplayer is still kind of open, in my opinion, for them to add kind of fun, Team Fortress hats or something. If they were, I mean, in all reality, they could do this kind of things because it's about unlocking new gear and making yourself customized so you look a little bit different than everybody else. But the single player game, other than the DLC where it might expand, like I said, the universe or actions of other characters we met, like there was the brothers, which we don't know exactly. Well, we know what happened to the brother. Maybe we can see how they got to Pittsburgh. Maybe that's something you're going to do with it. Again, a lot of prequel kind of stuff where it ties in, kind of like the 400 Days stuff we just saw for The Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, maybe something like that, where it kind of like blends the world together a little bit, but doesn't give us, the resolutions we needed at the end.
I think they could do with some maybe DLC or whatever new multiplayer maps.
Oh yeah, they will.
I think that'd be a good addition because after a while, playing those same maps, what is it? There's like 3 or 4 of them. It gets a little stale.
There's a bunch of maps, but most people only pick a few of them.
Yeah, I mean,
the Call of Duty effect, we gotta play on the, cargo.
Yeah. Oh.
All right, well let's move on. Dins has 2 games he wants to cover, so why don't we move to Mr. Maximilian?
Alrighty. Well, today, guys, surprisingly, I'd like to talk about GTA 5.
Woo!
Woot woot. I'm really, really excited for this game. My history with GTA is only GTA 4. I have not played the originals. But I personally really liked GTA 4. And this new trailer really kind of took me by surprise. There wasn't really much hype about it at all. So let's hype it up now. So some key things with this game is, it's going to be a massive game world, which we kind of know GTA have these large maps, but they're kind of adding this more diversity to them. They're going to have like these low-income developments with strip malls and adding like wilderness and wildlife. And maybe this doesn't really interest most people, but I think it's really cool. Like I want to ride around in my quad in the wilderness just for the fun of it. And like this hunting and deer, maybe even like wolves. Like I want to go in the wolves and get attacked by mauled by animals. So it's just like the fun of GTA, right? Just
exactly.
Well, my question was, we need to see more about the multiplayer because they teased it and it looks interesting, but they added all those things you can do in the game. Like, I'm going to buy real estate, go do some golfing, go over here and get some medicinal weed, all in one day. But so what happens if I'm out?
Sounds like a good day to me.
Well, sure, but what if I'm out golfing and some the asshole troll that's also online with me decides to ride his Corvette right down to my golf game? How's that going to affect my handicap?
Freegasm, well, that'd be awesome. I'm definitely, we're waiting later to see for multiplayer, but it has potential. I didn't really like the multiplayer in Grand Theft Auto 4, but I'm looking in these next gen of games, I'm looking for this multiplayer, which is like, you log on and you're just running around the world like you do in multiplayer or in GTA offline, but it's online and you run into actual people and you mess them up and you troll them and whatever. That can adds like so much more dynamic and awesomeness. So in this game, there's going to be 3 major characters that you can kind of switch between at any point during the game. I'm sure once you're in a mission, you're kind of locked in, or maybe if you're doing something special with each character, but you're basically supposed to seamlessly kind of play who you want to play and see what they're up to, which I thought was interesting. Instead of having one character, let's diverse it a little bit. One of my major questions is, is whether they're going to be, or how optional they're going to be to play, right? Do you have to use all three? You know, they kind of, do I have to go bowling? Like, do I have to go on those dating missions like GTA 4? And hopefully it won't be as, you know, as solid and locked in as that.
My whole thing was, and I've talked about it before on stream and stuff like that, and anybody who's seen me type it out, you know, the major, and I just started playing through GTA 4 again yesterday and everything. The one thing coming from San Andreas and Vice City and then going into 4 was a major disappointment. We waited for 4 for a long time, and you're playing GTA 4 and it's always, hey Nico, wanna go bowling? You know, and you're in the middle of a fucking shootout or something. You're stomping, you know, people's face out. You know, it's just like, Jesus, that's so boring and ridiculous. To me, GTA 4, the world was very small. It was limited in what you could really do and everything, and that's not very common from a Rockstar game, you know. I don't know why. So I was really kind of like, you know what, I'm on a wait and see attitude about GTA 5. Then I saw the trailer, had to go change my pants, and I'm pretty much like sold on it. And I'd be fine if they did a multiplayer similar to GTA 4, only because the map size is going to be just enormous, and you know, Dinge, you could go skydiving, I could go play golf, and you know, Max could be the asshole in the Corvette trying to find all of us, trying to figure out what we're all doing. You know, I think that's just fantastic.
Check out my spinners. Yeah.
I mean,
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to say, it looked like from the trailer, and I don't know, I know Max is questioning this, and I don't know either, but it looks like they're going to work together, these three guys, like, and you're going to have multiple choices, you know what I mean, for stuff. Like, you might have a guy that needs to be in the room, but then you're going to have, it looks like in the mission, you're going to have like a guy across the street on the rooftop that's going to, like, you're going to switch to, you know what I mean, like, almost simultaneously.
Exactly. So, like, from what I've seen, you know, that's exactly right. And you're going to be able to plan out your heist. This was a large thing that I'm very interested in. You know, like, before you go on a mission, you get to kind of choose what you do instead of kind of doing what you can with the mission you're given, you know? So it's kind of adds this, like, customized mission. I don't have to go in stealthy if I don't want to. I don't have to take this guy because I don't like him, you know? So it just adds this flexibility, and I think that's really going to be interesting. And then they changed this like fluidity. So that you're going to be able to switch between, you know, one person to the support person, you know, flying the helicopter, or the guy sniping across the way in mid-mission, which, you know, personally I think it's interesting, but it's not really my cup of tea. You know, I kind of like the whole gameplay where, like, you're stuck where you are. You're in the situation. You got to deal with it. Mm-hmm. You know, and they kind of did the same thing. And you can watch the trailer, and they show you, like, running towards these bad guys, and you, like, change your mission, and it all slows down. And it's cool, I guess. But for me, like, it just brings me out of the moment. If I can kind of slow down and choose what weapon I'm gonna kick your ass with next, like, it's kind of cool. But I don't feel the pressure of getting shot at by 5 guys and having to go to cover. You know.
Yeah.
They're doing a whole bunch of stuff cool with this game too. I'm really excited for the driving. They said, you know, early on they're really gonna focus and really polish the driving in GTA 5, and I really hope so, because personally GTA 4, you know, I hated the driving. Oh. It was. You know, driving can be irritating or fun in games, and it was just so irritating in GTA 4. Like, I'd just go call my guy for a cab half the time because I didn't want to deal with the assholes on the road or the car not turning, right? I hate more corners and pedestrians than I could stand between the yellow lines.
Yeah.
You know, so I really, really hope they polish that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that's it. They've got a lot to prove to me from GTA 4, and I hate to get excited over trailers. I'm really not a trailer person, but man, does that look fantastic. I just gotta say it. And I love the fact that, like, how many times when you've played any other Grand Theft Autos have you gotten to the point where you've got so much money and you've bought everything there is to buy in the game, and it's just, you know, who cares, you know, okay, I've got so much money. And it seems like you can do a lot more with money in this game. You can buy real estate, you can fart around on their stock market, you can do a whole bunch of other things. And I'd really like to have it, if they could have it more open world. I don't know if they're going to, but to where you have actual clothing shops. I know they have like tattoo shops and stuff, but you know, you could go in and you could buy a whole bunch of clothes to sit there, you know, maybe even ridiculous clothes, you know, stuff like that. You could be that Pikachu or whatever, you know. I'd love to see that kind of customization as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited, you know, with money. You know, they've always had that, like, there's limitations. You can earn so much money in the game that you're God. You can buy whatever. I can buy cars and helicopters and throw them away. You know, but being able to continuously invest that money or use that money towards in-game, you know, real estate, property, and you know, showing off and kind of always being able to spend it in a new way, I think is really going to be interesting.
Yeah. I really like the, like you mentioned, the planning aspect and the fact that you could go in, like in multiple ways onto on like a heist. You know, you could go in guns blazing, or I think in the trailer they showed them like gassing the civilians instead, and there's less resistance and stuff. You just go in and grab the keys, and it's a smash and grab kind of a thing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
pretty damn cool.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it actually makes you think, like, okay, well, what do I want to do? Do I, you know, well, if you're like one of these Assassin's Creed type of players where you like to be all stealthy and quiet and stuff like that, and not, you know, have so many, I don't know if they're still going with the star system or not, but, you know, I don't want to sit there and alert everybody and their grandmother, you know. That's your kind of play style. If not, you can go in there and dynamic entry and just start throwing grenades and shit. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, or if you're me, you'll plan to go in stealthy, and within 30 seconds you'll fuck shit up, and you got everyone attacking you, and you have no guns, and you're like, well, what do I do now?
Yeah.
So it'll definitely be fun to watch me stream that. I'm really excited for it. I'm gonna grab it as soon as I can.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna pre-order, but I'm gonna grab it, and I'm gonna stream the hell out of that game. So
yeah. And if you're playing on PC, from what I understand, don't hold your breath.
Ouch.
It's gonna be a while. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while. So it's only gonna, I think, release on 360 and PlayStation.
Wow.
I think so.
So
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, probably a quarter at least next year.
tune into us, all of us here, because I'm sure we'll have it and we'll be streaming it. So.
Oh, we'll have to have the Daisy Bandit shenanigans going on.
That's true. Yeah.
That's true. All right. Well, I am gonna talk about my game real quick. This is another Kickstarter game. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
It's raised $14 million as of July. It's kind of ridiculous. It's designed by a guy who did, let's see, Wing Commander, Freelancer. Those are the two games that I played. Guy named Chris Roberts. I played the shit out of Wing Commander. I love the whole carrier fighter kind of style of gameplay, and Wing Commander did it for me. And his new title, although it looks really ambitious, it looks like it's going to get done. I mean, some of the animations and trailers and screenshots from the actual gameplay footage and the way the game looks just looks mind-blowing. So this game is called Star Citizen, and I'm going to show you guys a really quick trailer, and you guys can kind of see what we're talking about here, okay? Then we'll get into more.
I might have to watch this because I've never seen this.
Remember that.
Be right back in a second.
Okay. get fucking chills.
Wow.
That's all I gotta say. Yeah, kind of ridiculous. That's one of the ships you can buy in their packs. I'll talk a little bit more about it, guys. It's going to be on the new CryEngine 3. The guys have been showing off a lot of their footage on YouTube of all the animations. I think they were showing like a destroyer the other day. Max and I were both looking at it, and you know, you sit in the ship. Your seat can rotate around. You can get sucked up into the gunner's seat on top. There's 2 gunners. You can have multiple members in your crew running your ship at the same time. They have multiple types of ships. You can have a fighter if you just want to roll solo, or just a squad of fighters. The main premise of the game, though, is players that just initially start the game, you don't really have citizenship in the game, and you need to provide your service to the military in order to earn your citizenship. And that's where the single player campaign comes into play. You're going to be a member of the 42nd Squadron above a carrier that was featured in the trailer. And you're going to have to go through a series of missions, I guess, exterminating the bad guys as you go. And then once you complete your tour of duty, that's where the single player ends, and it turns into an MMO free roam experience in the entire universe, kind of like Eve or something. Or the game Freelancer, if you've ever played that. Let's say you want to be a guy that has a ship that runs cargo. You want to be fucking Han Solo. You can do that. You want to stay in the military. You can do that. You want to go mine shit. You can do that. You can be a pirate and just raid people that are running their cargo. You can do that. There's no skill tree.
Can I be a space whore?
What's that?
Can I be a space whore?
A space whore?
They're called
Can I do that?
concubines.
Oh, my bad.
As long as you have the blue tentacles or whatever from that Star Wars chick, what are they called? Twi'leks? There you go. You're a Twi'lek.
Captain Kirk's green bitch.
Yeah, green bitch. There you go. There's not going to be any skill trees or anything like that as well. It's just going to be like, I'm done with my tour of duty. This is my ship that I got with my citizenship, and I'm going to go do this. And you can do it by yourself or with a group of friends, and it just seems like it's really going to break the mold of MMO RPG. What's up, Dins? What are you thinking?
Just like an intergalactic bus driver.
Like Roger Wilco, trash man of space. I'm going to go to this planet and pick up my trash.
There you go.
Got to keep a schedule.
Man, that looked amazing. I'm just sitting there thinking about the amount of fire extinguishers I'm gonna have sitting next to my PC before it frickin' melts. That looks absolutely amazing, and with a $14 million and counting Kickstarter, man. And do they have any release date or alpha date or anything like that?
It was I think it's, let me see. Yeah, I do have something on that here. They're slated for alpha at the end of this year, alpha phase. I'm not sure, but a lot of the Kickstarters, the people that provided all their donations, will get access, I think, to the beta, not the alpha. I couldn't find any additional information on that. But I know that they had different milestones on their Kickstarter page, which were just, I mean, if you go there and check it out, you know, the last one is if they hit $6 million, they're going to get like a full-blown orchestra to redo all the music for the entire game. I mean, they listed when they hit each milestone what they were going to provide. You know, which was kind of cool that you actually get to see how much you donate, and it inspired more people to throw more money at the game, I think.
I like the idea. I think it's pretty cool, and I played the shit out of Wing Commander too, as well. Yeah, I think that's really, really, really cool. I mean, it gets you more involved than, say, like, what was that game that we played where they patched and it completely blew the whole damn game up?
Star Conflict?
Yeah, Star Conflict. It's more than just flying around a spaceship shooting something, or other people are getting raped by missiles from 18 million miles away. There's, you know, again, going back to Cube World, there's a purpose, there's a meaning, there's so on and so forth. I think, and plus it just looks absolutely amazing.
Agreed. It looks like, from what I read in the development notes for you know, their current build, is the carriers are going to be about 1 kilometer long. So it's not like Wing Commander where you just aim for the hole and it loads you in and you're on the ship. You actually have to fly your fighter in there, land it on the, you know, the landing pad somewhere in there, designated spot, get out of your fighter and walk into like your locker room and take off your flight suit and shit like that. So it is going to be, like an MMO. See, Din's
That's
just chuckling.
awesome.
I'm just thinking Space Sam's. Flush the toilet and you're dead.
Yeah. Oh man, I got the fungal rot on my feet. Let me hit my locker.
I just want to be like
an omelet.
I just want to be like Red 7 from Star Wars.
I want to be Porkins.
Hey, there you go, Porkins.
Moff Tarkin.
Barely fit in
I'm
the
off
cocker.
target. Raffle, you switched off your targeting computer.
No fucks given. I got a bacon sandwich.
I mean, I'm just waiting to see how many times we all crash right into the fucking carrier, and just like, fuck!
Top Gun NES?
Yeah, hey man, I was really good. I don't understand why everybody was like, man, this is like Top Gun NES. I laid that bitch on Top Gun every time. It wasn't that difficult. I never had a problem with it. I'm like, wow, was it really that bad? Oh man, that looks fantastic.
Power glove. That's all you needed.
The power glove,
There you
yeah.
go.
D-pad it. Yeah, I mean, it really opens it up. I mean, you can do all kinds of different professions, which I think is really cool. It kind of combines Wing Commander and Freelancer, in my opinion, together. Because in Freelancer, I would just fly around from planets buying resources at lower cost and selling them, at inflated prices on other planets, and just make a killing, and then go buy like some ridiculous fighter or some destroyer and just start mopping the floor with people. So, it has a lot of potential, and I can't wait to see more of the game. And I just think it would be fun too as a community, and having your friends play together too, to roll with a squadron or something like that, whether you're in the military or pirates or whatever. There's just so much interaction there that has potential. Or working together on a ship would just be awesome. It'd be like Guns of Icarus in space.
Yeah.
I would dig that. I would dig that. Yeah.
I'd definitely be up for this multiplayer, community gaming. You have a great stream community, and getting a bunch of us on one ship and going and crashing it into someone just would be an epic stream,
Yeah, that would be that's highlight worthy right there.
You log on every Wednesday. Everyone's free on Wednesday. Okay, guys, we're gonna go to this planet and we're gonna hammer their shit out of anyone who comes across our path, and that's our Wednesday this week. You know what I'm saying? That really cool.
That sounds awesome. Yeah,
so
I could definitely go for it. Good choice.
Cool. All right, I believe the Big D is going to round it up here with our last game.
And I think it's something that Kevin also wanted to touch on, so hopefully everybody gets a chance to look at this game. It's called Rust. If you haven't heard of this, there's a site, I think it's playrust.com. There's some video up on the stream here now. And I would also take a chance to look at the facepunch.com community site to learn what the type of people who are in this game right now are like, because it was an eye-awakening experience for me. Because I wanted to play this game. I had seen it a couple times. It's basically, if you want to, I forget what I called it one day. It was a blend of Skyrim, DayZ, and Minecraft, in my opinion. Because it has the kind of look of Skyrim, this beautiful world in a lot of ways. The zombie apocalypse style of survival from DayZ, and the crafting of say, something like Minecraft, or maybe Stalker, some people have mentioned as well. But anyhow, basically you start out, and I don't know what they're going to do in the long run, but it's in very, very early alpha right now. And there's a number of people playing it online on Twitch right now as well. But it's basically, you start with the hatchet, a med kit, and I think a flare. And you have to go out and just cut trees, find wood piles, find iron ore. Then you can start crafting a house, or you can start crafting weapons if you know how to make them. So you have to find the plans for the more advanced weapons off of zombies and such, and off loot crates. And that's pretty much the open world. So there's no voice comms right now. There's a limited amount of chat, and it's based on the, I believe, Unity engine. So it's Gary's mod, if you will, and Gary is the one making the game. So they know what they're doing, and they know what they were going to try and slip this under the Steam Greenlight process through the Gary's mod application, but they said no, we're going to do this the right way. We're going to go through Greenlight, get people on board, and they're adding stuff to it every week almost now. Every time they wipe it, it seems they're adding a few more things. Like, they just changed it. Like, you couldn't destroy walls before, now you can destroy walls, and people are crying. And that's why I was talking about the community kind of swaying the way the game goes from the developers. This game is interesting from the crafting and the way it's set up, but it's just ripe for trolls. So I streamed it, I think, last week or sometime, and I don't have anybody in my friends list playing it. And I'm trying to get on board with Lyric Stream and the Bean Bands and all these other people because they actually are trying to work together. Because if you have a group of 2 or 3 in this game, you're going to wreck all the newbies, and people are going to get frustrated because it's so easy to, and it's so hard to make a base alone. But if you have a few people who go out and craft and gather resources and do it, the game's really fun because you're always trying to raid other people and defend your base from other people. And but it's that tenseness of like, who is that? Who's that? So go away! Get away from my house! Get away from my house! And it's like, you're playing Clint Eastwood there, when you're on my lawn or something. But it's addicting. It's the crafting, in my opinion, gets you addicted. It's not in raiding. It's just you want to keep playing it because it's so much fun to find new things. And the zombies aren't even in there yet. I hope they make zombies a lot harder because they're worthless right now. But it's really right now just about trolling everybody else. Because you find their house, you put a wall up in front of the door, and they can't leave. You're like, run away. But it's interesting. And don't ask to get a key, especially on their forums.
Yeah, that's
They will troll the hell out of you. I went in there first trying to get a key, and they said buy a gold membership and they'll give you a key, but they won't. So that's just their way of getting $10 at you. But that's the demeanor of the site. They are the ultimate in trolls. I mean, you have no idea until you read these forums. They're hilarious once you get in it. But there was a contest where you could draw a picture and scan it or put it in, upload it. He'll give you a key. I got lucky enough that Gary gave me a key. So I'm playing this, but they're just trolling the hell out of all the little DayZ noobs who want to come over and try and get a key because they saw Sacriel playing or somebody else. It's just hilarious to watch them. But it's the same way in the game because there's these guys who are like, I want to be on Twitch, and they rate them. And it's very entertaining. It's very cool. But I don't know where they're going to go with it because there's so many options they can do. Because as you know, Gary's mod allows for this crafting of amazing things and reskinning of things that they have so many options that DayZ, if they do this game right, DayZ's in trouble. I hate to tell you that. As I know it's not a military kind of sim, but it takes all the crap from WarZ or Infestation, whatever it's called, that they, the kind of twitchy, better shooter like that, but it gives it more meat to it. And it actually feels good to shoot. It's almost like Counter-Strike shooting in some ways. So it's a great blend. If they do this right, they're going to make $1 million easy. The first day sales are going to be amazing. So.
Yeah, from what I've seen with Lyric and Sacriel playing and Cream playing and everything like that, it's a totally different take on what you would want from, say, a zombie apocalypse game. Yeah, I mean, it's survival, there's crafting in it and everything like that. Right now, like Den said, the zombies are pretty much worthless. They're very sparse, and everything. And the main objective right now is just to grief as much as possible, which can be absolutely hilarious. Like Den said, where Lyric's house is, where you build a wall and you just put it in front of his door, and while he's in it and he can't get out, and you just laugh, and then you just satchel charge it, or they just added in satchel charges last night, but you grenade it and blow up the house. I mean, it's hilarious. But my whole point is the amount of possibilities that they have with this, and it's still browser based right now, just because it's very for being as early alpha as it is. It's phenomenal. I literally can't wait to see what they do going forward, and it is going to be like an executable type of format as it gets released and everything. Just right now it's browser based, but it is phenomenal. It's involved without being too involved, where you have your crafting, where you have everything like that, but it's not mind-blowingly awful. It's like, hey, okay, I want to make an M14, I don't have the recipe, let me go out and try and kill some zombies to try and find it. You're not searching the ends of the earth. But it's really neat, and the ability to troll people that you don't have really in DayZ. I mean, let's look at it from that standpoint. I mean, even in standalone, you're not going to be able to troll people that great. You know what I mean? It's tough. Yeah. This has just phenomenal trolling ability. It is fantastic. If you're a dickhead,
Yeah, but
I
Who
happen to
isn't?
be.
Well, I will say DayZ Standalone's gonna have walkie-talkies, and I'm pretty fucking
That's true.
excited for trolling with that. But
Yeah.
you're right, Rust has much more opportunity.
Well, just to give a personal example of that trolling, not to cut you off, but I was playing one night, and this was right when they first put metal doors in, and I didn't have the crafting for that. I didn't have a pickaxe or any of this other stuff. I was playing, and it was pitch dark, and it was a night we were having thunderstorms here, and I kid you not, this happened. I ran into this house that somebody had started building, just so I could start crafting something because I didn't have anywhere else to hide. And I saw people with M4 shooting not too far away. I ran in there, and my internet died, so I ended up logging off in that house. And the guy had seen me go in there. The next day I log in, somebody put a metal door in the room I was in. I couldn't get out because you can't open other people's doors. So I was, in essence, their slave at this point. Now you can, in its alpha, you can get out by doing a do unstick, I think it's called, command. It'll teleport you away because you're like stuck in the wall or you built yourself into a wall or something. But I was just like, oh my god, you're kidding me! This guy totally just trolled me.
I mean, that's a great imagination. That's a fuck you for later.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
like,
that's
and this guy's gonna be pissed. Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, it has a lot of potential, and I think you're right, Raffle. I think Standalone better watch out. I mean, I think this is a different take on it, and I've been looking at the developer video logs for Standalone, and I don't know, I'm just not that impressed. I'm gonna get it, but it's just like it's basically just a mod of Arma 3 almost. I mean, they're using the same engine, they're using the same like the inventory screen and everything. I mean, it's basically what we're using now, but it's on with Arma 3 and their kind of stuff. I'm just kind of not impressed. This has the possibility of just being fantastic, and I hope they keep it up.
Yeah. At this point, I looked at it and I wanted to get a key, and I realized how impossible it is at this point.
Yeah.
So I was like, whatever, I'll just have to wait for the game, and it looks really fun to play. It has that game aspect of it, which I think DayZ has that survival aspect of it. You don't want to die, you want to save your equipment, you want to kill the guy in front of you. Whereas this one is just like, you're gonna die a lot, let's just go troll someone,
Yeah.
And I definitely can't wait for it. And I'd say, actually, like at this point, if you ask me which one I'm more interested in, playing Rust or playing DayZ, I'd say Rust, because hell, we've logged 100 hours in DayZ already.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be pretty much the same game. I feel, maybe a little better, a little polished, but we played DayZ. So.
And plus, let's be honest, DayZ has taken a long time to get out to beta. Here's Rust, and you have a better chance of kissing Christ's feet before you get a beta key, but with the exception of Dins, because he's awesome, because he's the big D. But I mean, look at that. I mean, once that goes beta, if Standalone isn't in some form of beta or released, oh man, are they going to be in trouble? They're going to be in deep doo-doo.
Well, I mean, even looking at Standalone in the aspect of what can the community do, what has made DayZ stick so long now is not the vanilla game, because nobody plays vanilla DayZ anymore.
Yeah.
I guarantee it's boring. It's not worth it. Even the additions they've done recently, I know they've done some UI stuff they're working on. Mm-hmm. It's not holding anybody's attention. It's the other mods people are making, like Overwatch and Day Zero,
Broken Point.
But didn't Rocket say that the standalone isn't going to be open to mods? Uh-oh, you got a problem here.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do a lot more work to make it interesting for people, and they're not going to do that. I have a feeling when Gary releases this Rust stuff, whatever it's going to do in the end, they're going to allow people to kind of customize things on their particular servers, how they're going to do it. Because right now it's one server, browser-based, and it's still more entertaining than DayZ.
I mean, I remember spending a lot of time in vanilla DayZ, and what would you do? You'd run around for hours trying to get geared, or goddamn, you'd run around for hours trying to find the parts for just that one car.
Yeah.
That ended up disappearing. You'd come back to it, with all the parts. You'd
Everybody
be like,
spread out. You go here, you go there.
Yeah.
Get a fucking tire.
I mean, and it was like, okay, we got the car going. It's 2:00 in the morning. I gotta go. I think we lost Max, but there he is. But and so I was like, thank God these mods came out, you know what I mean? And then I haven't played DayZ in a long while. You know, I went on to different versions of the Arma, you know what I mean? But, you know, this is just looks so damn fun.
Yeah.
You
Just
know, oh
straight cut
my
and dry
God.
fun, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what games are about,
mean,
you know?
It's not rocket science, it's fun.
And I heard, and I could be wrong on the forums and some other devs talking about it in game, that they're looking to have a paid alpha, like so more people can get in, and probably make an executable soon, before the beginning of August or maybe in the middle of August. So they're trying to open up quickly because they know that people want to see it and it's working. There's nothing wrong, and they're doing wipes and stuff for the people's buildings and rollbacks right now. But they're understanding of the server load, they're understanding how it's bogging down the game. So they're making a lot of progress. So I think people are going to be able to get in pretty soon. Maybe have multiple servers running in different places. So it's not as as Kevin was saying, lagging behind like DayZ Standalone is, and not getting any information out. They're working quick because they know it's going to be good. So
cool.
Just don't wait too long here. I hope.
And the only caveat I'd have to that is, if they do allow mods on Rust, which I think they should, it should be pursuant to like Gary and his team or whatever, whoever's doing it, approving these mods, because we've seen some of the stuff that they've done for Gary, people have done for Gary's mods, and it's just like ridiculous. Like, I don't want to sit there and log on to a server for Rust and then have some guy like modded in like that mini nuke gun from and just start from Fallout and start nuking everybody. You know, I don't want to see that, but I'm pretty sure he'd probably do.
Yeah. I'm thinking they're going to have to run it through Steam and the Steam Workshop as well. If they have anything to do with it, that'd be the way to go, in my opinion. And I don't know how far they can take it, but I know they want to run it through Steam. So they want to have that control and the ability to utilize the Steam network and such. So
yeah, good. I definitely think, and I would love to see mods for the game. You know, I think that the developers do a really good job at making games entertaining and so far, but at the same time, there's this interesting dynamic with communities. It's like, well, what is this random guy that I don't know thinking of that might be interesting for me? You know, they come up with some interesting mod, and you know, no one really had the idea. The developers had no direction that way, right? And it just becomes this like interesting thing. You know, it happens with Minecraft when they kind of did the like DayZ mod with Minecraft, right? And that's kind of a copy, but the same idea of like just having these ideas that people have and allowing them to express it with like the engine that you provide is just a great community building, you know, thing for your game.
Well, plus it like Din said earlier, it keeps life in the game. I mean, you know, we're a fickle bunch. You know, we sit there, we play a game, and it gets old and stale, and oh, look at the dog that just walked across the street. You know, something else pulls our attention. You know what I mean? And we'll go towards that. When you open it up to mods and stuff like that, I mean, how many people would have bought Arma and the whole package of Arma 2 if it weren't for DayZ? And then how many people would have still played DayZ if it wouldn't have been for Broken Point and Overwatch and all that kind of stuff? You know, all those different kinds of mods. It kept that game going for the longest time. I mean, Jesus, it was... what was it? One of the Steam's largest sellers, you know, and it had been out for 2 or 3 years. So, it'd be smart to keep it open to mods. And on the flip side, Rocket would be pretty brainless to not allow his open to mods.
Well, some of the most fun I've ever had in Arma 2 was actually with some of the totally different mods. I mean, yeah, I had a lot of fun with the crew and DayZ, but there's only so much, you know, hanging around in Cherno you can do before it gets kind of meh. But, you know, some amazing firefights with like Astuo and everybody, Patty Emmett, Dins, I mean, everyone who plays with us. But I had more fun, I think, playing Tacky Life. I mean, I would log
those
on.
drugs.
Yep.
I would log on every day. As soon as I
LSD.
woke up, man, I'd have coffee and breakfast. Like, all right, let's start the day. Tacky Life.
LSD or doing cops.
Yeah, we gotta go make our money so we can mess around later. Oh, this is the best.
not fishing hole.
Yeah, so we can go and troll and
But I think DayZ is a really good segue to move on to Kevin's other topic he wanted to discuss tonight.
Okay, and this is going to be really quick.
That's fine.
And everything, and it's less of a real topic that I want to discuss. It's more of a PSA, a public service announcement. That's WarZ is now called Infestation Survivor Stories. The overall message that you should remember is still not to touch that with your neighbor's dick, okay? And
Unless it's
all
Halo.
that boys, unless it's Halo. But apparently even Halo stopped playing it, so that ought to tell you something right there. We love you, Halo. It means something when a game decides to change its name. And
Well, it means two things. When we say that, it's either they want to fool you the second time, or they have a legal battle on their hands. I guess
Yeah.
it was the latter here.
right. And usually, if it's the latter, the game is not out that long before the legal shit happens and they file an injunction. But anyway,
They're having a hard time picking genders.
it's still a horrible game. The same problems still exist, unfortunately. The devs are still who they are.
Yeah.
I don't want to get sued for libel. Just whatever you do, remember, Survivor, Infestation Stories, your neighbor's dick don't touch. You know what I mean? And this PSA was brought to you by Kevin's Bad Gaming.
My first reaction to that name change, though, was I said, "This is the only thing in the world that can give infestations a bad name."
Yeah, I take a bath in an infestation of cockroaches before I bought this game. I bought it when I think we all bought it. What was it, like $9? It was their alpha or something like
Paid
that.
more than that.
What was it? $9, $15, something like that. I can't remember. Okay, Raffle's gonna cut me off. That's
No, you're good. We got 5 minutes.
Okay, Kev, thanks for the PSA.
No, we're good. We're good. Does anyone in chat have any questions or anything for us about tonight's show? Any of the games we discussed, or Survivor Stories, or anything?
Infestation Survivor.
Infestation Survivor Stories.
And apparently, a lot of people got duped.
Really?
They thought it was a new game. Yeah, they thought it was a different game. You know, who's gonna? It's even got a different box art and everything like that.
They had to change all the stuff they ripped off from The Walking Dead and other zombie games. They just took the photos and photoshopped them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just these.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Although I was reading their dev diaries just real quickly, I saw like they put out a dev diary on Facebook. I still follow them just for the yucks, but they're like, we went to Russia and tested all these AKs. I'm like, how about you just make your game a little better? Who cares if you went and tested the AKs? Your game still sucks. I'm sorry.
Oh boy.
Yay! Battlefield style testing. Your game sucks.
Like there isn't 300 games out there with AKs in them. For God's sake, you've stolen everything else. Just pick a sound file, it's just a shame. And I gotta say it is a shame, because a game like that, I'm not saying as it is right now, but a game like that has a potential to be something. I mean, variety is, good for the gaming industry. You know what I mean? But they're. Yeah.
Well, Qmon says, do you have a release date for Star Citizen? There isn't a release date yet. The only thing they're promising is alpha will start by the end of the year. So, I mean, even at that state, they don't have to, release any pre-release to the fans or the donators. I think they mentioned beta, people will gain access to the game. So if you donated in the Kickstarter, you'll be able to check the game out in
Is
the
the
beta.
Kickstarter still up?
No, it's funded already.
No.
It's all done now. So, I mean, the page is still there, but, it's done. The Kickstarter's done. You can buy packages now, which will get you ships and stuff in the game eventually on their site, which is pretty cool. I'm still a little reluctant to spend money on a game I can't play right now. But, it has potential to, maybe throw some ducats down and get a pretty sweet ship, We'll see.
It does say right here on their site, for a couple of their packages, for $40, you can get alpha and beta access.
There you go. Alpha and beta. So it might be worth it by the end of the year. But still, do you want to buy that now, or do you want to wait till...
You can play it.
Exactly. So, Ebony, I will check the petition and see how many How many people have signed it? I bet it's well over 1 million by now.
I swear to God, I hope they do that. Make it for the PC. I think it'd probably run better. I mean, how many people would you cut off in the PC gaming community by not making it for PC? And people are begging for it.
Yeah.
Just absolutely begging for it. You know, the console makers could be saying, well, they'll just have to go and buy a console. That's more money for us. But, man, I got to tell you, that game is just too good to pass up.
Yeah.
All right. With the games that we talked about tonight, which games are you guys stoked about? So we'll just go quick with this. I'm stoked for Grand Theft Auto 5 and Star Citizen, probably the most.
Same here, actually. You know, of all the games we've chatted about today, I mean, Cube World's fun to play. We'll see where it goes and all that. But GTA 5, really excited for, and Starships, hoping to crash into some people, you know.
All right, Dins.
Well, I'm obviously stoked still for Rust and GTA 5 and the Horizon, though. If I get a next-gen system, I guess. But we'll see.
All right.
GTA 5, definitely. I just found out about that game you told us about, Raffle, so that's definitely going onto my radar. Definitely Rust. And, man, I just can't pass up a WarZ. I'm sorry, Infestation Stories.
Ebony, I will look it up in a little bit. I don't have the link bookmarked, and I have like 50 things on my screen. I'll probably tweet it out because I want to take a look myself to see if it's over 1 million signatures for The Division on PC. No problem. Real quick, guys, let's do some shout-outs. Big D, why don't you kick us off? And, Twitter, your stream, whatever you want to shout out. Go ahead, bro.
Well, you can probably see in the background over here somewhere. I have most of my Twitter names and channel names and Xbox, PS3, Raptor, what have you, Steam. I'm going to be trying to do some streams of Rust and Civ 5, maybe some Guild Wars 2, so that's coming up soon. I'm actually going to try and start doing a weekly drawing or artistic kind of time where I sit in Photoshop and do some sketching on my nice new tablet, so
Cool.
We'll see how that goes. So give me a follow, tweet, whatever you want to do.
Sweet. Thanks, Dins. Go ahead, Max.
All right, guys. You can follow me on Twitter at _MaxT2. It's where I'll tweet some live stuff out and kind of you can chat with me about gaming. I recently started streaming, as some of you are aware. You can see my channel at MaxT2. And yeah, I'll be streaming some League of Legends I started playing with my buddy, so that'll be fun, and we should get back into some Forza driving.
Cool. And Cannibal is going to link up our channels for us, so thank you, Canny. All right, Kev, what you got?
All right, well, I don't have shit, actually. No, yeah, Twitch TV, Kevin's back gaming. I'm going to be starting to stream again soon here, guys. It's been absolutely hectic here, so I haven't really been able to stream. My Twitter's there. It's at Kevin McAvenny, if you can spell that. I love you forever. That's pretty much it. We're going to be doing some, I think, Guild Wars 2. We'll probably be doing some more stuff, as my son calls me. We're probably going to be doing some more stuff on the Xbox. Hopefully more hype. All that kind of good stuff. I'm sitting there looking around going, what can I look at that'll give me something to plug?
Lamp.
So, yeah, guys, So I do appreciate all your support, and I apologize for not streaming for the past month or so. Things have just been crazy out of hand. But look for me. I will be streaming again soon.
All right. Thank you, Kev. Thanks, Dins. Thanks, Max. Appreciate you guys joining. Always
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
No problem. This has been Hype Episode 5, guys. Take care. Have a good one.